soldiers are not invincible. So while soldiers are not afraid of dying, some soldiers find it difficult to find a reason to keep living.
This week is National Suicide Prevention Week, and that's Dr. Richard Doss, a clinical psychologist and military expert on suicide prevention and resiliency. Suicide rates increased 37% between 2000 and 2018, then dipped a bit by 2020.
But they nearly returned to their peak in 2021. And speaking to tens of thousands of soldiers and veterans, Dr. Doss has gained insight into what's driving this crisis. His book is Good Soldiers Suffer in Silence, PTSD, Suicide, and Other Stuff Soldiers Do Not Talk About. And he's here with us this morning. Good morning, Dr. Doss.
Good morning.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here.
When we look at the suicide rates and we think about, I think people become so much more aware of PTSD, but I didn't realize that the rates had climbed so high. Is there a particular reason that's driving that?
Well, the thing that you have to keep in mind is, even though this is Suicide Prevention Week and Suicide Prevention Month, actually, 600 soldiers committed suicide last month. Wow. And next month, we estimate that another 600 soldiers will commit suicide. On any given day, people are going through something. Yeah. And the challenge is that soldiers are trained to take care of other people who are in need of help, but they are not really good at asking for help themselves.
I would think that that's always been the case. You go back to World War II, it's not like PTSD didn't exist, even we may not have had the verbiage for it.
Right.
So why is the problem getting worse, not better, it seems, when mental illness, I think, is less of a stigma than it was in the 1940s?
Right. I want you to know that the stigma is still alive and well. And I think a lot of the culture in the military continues to be the same. The idea that you suck it up, drink water, and drive on. You don't ask for help. Actually asking for help, saying that you have PTSD, saying that you have depression, or saying that you have anxiety can be have a negative impact on your career. It could hurt your ability to get promoted. You can be found unfit for duty. If they take your weapon, how long are you going to be in the military?
Yeah, there's repercussions to that. So, what is the first step that you take to try if somebody's been flagged or somebody comes to you? How do you get them to open up? Particularly when they're what you're saying. Essentially they're trained not to care for other people, not particularly for themselves.
Right. Well, I think of it like this, the idea that there are things that soldiers need to do, for example, in war, put the mission first. Mm-hmm. There's really not a place for us to be thinking about your concerns, your needs during war. But coming home, I think it's important for you to be able to say, when I lost my battle buddy in war, that really affected me, it really impacted me. So the idea that I have to be strong and suck it up is something that I think needs to be put to the side once you come back to the States. And you need to be able to say that I'm human and I'm not immune from life.
Mm-hmm. Would it be helpful for the military to teach them coping skills, et cetera, in the course of their training, or is that just not enough considering what they do for a living?
I don't know if there is space for debriefing. We have more conversations about PTSD and depression and anxiety now, but the reality of it is that even if I give the 988 number, or even if I tell you the various places that a soldier could go to get services, a soldier has to believe that it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to say that I have issues or that I have a problem. Mm-hmm. Because when you say that I have an issue or I have a problem, it makes you seem vulnerable and it makes you seem weak.
And how important is that community around, though, and particularly family members saying, like, hey, you might have an issue, well, let's go try to seek help. Is that the biggest driver for people to seek help, typically?
Usually the first people who will know that there is some kind of problem will be family members. I have soldiers who came home from Vietnam who said that their mother was the first one to say, son, you're not the same. Yeah. And so that idea that there is something that actually happens before they go away to deploy that really doesn't change. During basic training or boot camp, the military works hard to take away empathy. That works well if
Right.
you have to take a life.
Yeah.
The ugly
Yeah.
thing is when you
Yeah.
come home with no empathy,
Right.
how good do you think you're going to be in a relationship?
So real quick, is the military taking this seriously? Do they care about this subject?
The military does care about it. They are taking it seriously, but they have a job to do. And unfortunately, the job is about taking care of the mission of the military and not so much taking care of the mission of individuals.
The book is Good Soldiers Suffer in Silence, PTSD, Suicide, and Other Stuff Soldiers Don't Talk About. Dr. Richard Doss, thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.